everyone. Welcome back to Be Well Together. I'm Jeffrey Huang, Senior Manager on the Employee Engagement and Events team at SalesForce, and I'm so excited to be back hosting today because we have an amazing guest here to help us get moving and build a foundation for a healthy life. It's my great pleasure to introduce one of the most influential health and wellness experts, Joe Holder. Joe is the founder of the Ocho system, an integrative wellness strategy that looks at physical activity as a gateway to improve other areas of health. He's also a Nike master trainer, a wellness columnist for GQ, and co-founder of System of Service, a nonprofit that provides engaging service opportunities, impacting communities through initiatives and partnerships. Today, Joe is going to share his holistic approach to fitness, and you're in for an extra special treat because for the last part of the session, he's going to guide us through a quick workout to help us move better in our bodies. So I hope you're all wearing something you can move in. But before we get to that workout, Joe, welcome to Be Well Together. I'd love to learn more about you and how you got started in the health and fitness world. You've talked about being involved in sports from an early age, and you were raised by parents who saw athletics as valuable from a character building standpoint. How has your upbringing shaped your attitude toward fitness, and how did your passion transform into a career?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. Super pleasure to be here. I think when we look at it like that, I kind of say I had a 20-year head start as it pertains to kind of health and wellness. My parents were super into, making sure we looked after each other. So my dad's an integrative doctor. My mom, I'm one of seven. So she basically raised us all. She was a stay-at-home mom, which is probably the toughest job. So I just kind of understood super early about how, treating your body well typically treats your brain well. So I excelled in sports. I was a 3-sport athlete. I went to an Ivy League school. I went to UPenn. And then while I was there, I dealt with some hardships that helped me understand, I think, a little bit of the bridge to adult life and some of the real world implications in the way that culture is set up that don't really want you to take care of yourself. So that was kind of the way I first approached it. And my time at UPenn was probably that focal point in which I decided to make it a career.
And that's awesome. And let's talk about that because you developed your own health philosophy called the Ocho system, which promotes productivity and progress through physical wellness, but also more importantly, encourages the goal of holistically and wholly, a goal of being holistically and wholly better. Can you tell us a little bit more about that system? What does Ocho mean? And what does a holistic approach look like to you?
Yeah, for sure. Ocho stands for one can help others, others can help one. So I look at it from the standpoint of, your job's not the most important thing in your life. Like you are, because your job is only the result of what you can do. It's only also then if you take care of yourself, you look after your family better, your community better. We're fed a lot of false myths and narratives. And I think in college, I realized that whether it was the way my college coaches were telling me to train or whether it was, a little bit of the narrative about, exceptionalism just through working hard, when I thought really what it's about is if you take care of yourself, everything in life just kind of becomes a little bit easier. But then it's also I believe you're indebted to have to give back, because at the end of the day, for all of us watching this right now or wherever we may be, we're relatively safe. We're lucky to have a job, probably have our health in some capacity. So you just have to make the decision to act on it. Once you make the decision to act on yourself, then you become a better vehicle to help other individuals in your life. Instead of, everybody kind of looks at health and wellness and fitness as super as a punishment. When at the end of the day, if you're able-bodied or you can move in any capacity, you're not taking care of yourself, there's really no excuse. But you need to look at it bigger than just fitness. And the Ocho system hits on 8 core values that I think are super important for one's own health. So it's, of course, physical, which is kind of diet and activity, but also mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, community, environmental, and then occupational. So health is so there's many components to health. And my goal is to help individuals understand that it's much bigger than just fitness, but fitness is the onboarding ramp, I like to say.
Yeah, and I love that. I love thinking about fitness as something more than just how your body feels and more than just how your mind feels. I love all of those facets to Ocho. So that's really awesome. I know that a huge part of maintaining healthy well-being and being holistically better is about habits, because you can start one thing one day and we start all these New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year, and like a month later we forgot all about them. So it's super challenging sometimes to maintain these healthy habits like exercising and eating a healthy diet. And even when we know what to do, it's not actually easy to put that into action. How do you coach and train your clients to deal with these challenges?
Yeah, it's a mix. It's commitment versus interest, right? So at the end of the day, there's a few things. One, decision is the foundation of action. There are a million excuses that you could come up with, which some of them are real, some of them aren't. But for better or for worse, at least when I'm doing my clients, I help them understand more about why they're wanting to do it, or set up the structure or the environment that makes it easy for them to do it. Set up your environment for success. Look at it like this. At the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that you want to do for work, you probably don't want to do, or you might have some sort of interest in, but you are held accountable. You're told to do it, and there's some sort of payoff to it. Now, there's often a quantitative payoff, which is your money, right? So you keep going because you need that base need. But another component of health really is your health. Like, you have economic health, and then you also have your personal health. So the quantitative and qualitative payoff is literally you'll save money if you're healthy. Like, that's a known fact. But the qualitative payoff is that you also have a better quality of life. So basically, it's that you have to make the decision. Two, set up the environments for best results. And then three, have a structure. When we think about habits like that, all it really is, why does school work? School work because you had to show up. And all of a sudden, trigonometry. Not because trigonometry is simple, but because you showed up every day and did it. You had a hard work project. Why did it get done? Not because you're some sort of genius, maybe some of you are, but because you had a team. So you build out your team. You had somebody that held you accountable, and then you had benchmark goals. So, set up your schedule and then really have things that you stick to, your non-negotiables. And for me, that's like moving in the morning, not checking my phone immediately in the morning. But I help my clients set it up like that, because you really just have to make the decision and then make the structure. But once you make the decision, the structure is vitally important, because then the decisions become easier, because then you're just within an environment that's set up for flourishing. So a lot of people think that when they don't meet their health goals, that it's just their fault, when really, look around you that's causing the difficulty before you blame yourself. And then if everything around you is set up for best results, then look within and figure out what you really need to do, and if you really need to hold yourself a little bit more accountable.
That's awesome. I love the idea of like setting up those structures and the systems in place, so that way it takes out some of the labor and the brain work of like figuring out when you're going to go to the gym today, or when you're going to get that that activity in. So that's awesome. I want to pivot a little bit, because I really like that you incorporate rest and recovery in your approach. And I think there's so much focus on action, about going to the gym and being active and doing this and doing that. But can you talk a little bit about why rest and giving our bodies time to recover after physical activity or stressors is so important? And what does a balanced workout recovery routine look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is to really stop thinking just about health and wellness as fitness, because that's not what it is. So it's the thought process of looking at the other areas around it, right? So when athletes, basically there's two things. One, it's a bit of a Taoist principle, but it's something called strategic non-action. So inaction is an action in itself. And a lot of the times the issue becomes, when we should be moving, we don't. And when we should be resting, we also don't. So we're caught in a no man's land. So this concept of rest isn't always sleep. If anybody really wants to read a good book out there, there's a good book called Sacred Rest by Dr. Sandra Dalton. She also did a very good TED Talk. She talks about 7 other areas of rest. So a lot of the things when we talk about this is, this is a thing. Everybody just thinks I'm in shape because I work out all the time. When my job isn't working out. Even if I'm coaching other clients, I'm not working out with them. Often, if I'm writing, I'm not working out. I'm on consulting projects, I'm not working out. Right now, right here, I'm not working out. But at the end of the day, it's that is fatiguing. Being at your desk all day is super fatiguing. So sometimes maybe you don't need a workout. Maybe you need to reduce your stress or release your tension. That's a form of rest. So instead of just laying on the couch watching TV or being on your phone, sometimes rest by spending time with yourself and removing artificial stimuli. But when we talk about this workout to rest kind of concept, is working out is nothing more than an additional stressor. It only has benefit if you recover from it properly. So that's really how you build around your workouts to actually get the benefits from them. Especially with my work with clients, I've worked with a lot of models in my day, but it's all very similar and really applicable to women especially, is reduce the stress and you feel so much better. That's typically when the health starts to improve. So really don't think about adding on workouts before you also think about, okay, am I getting enough water? Am I eating enough? A lot of people don't realize your brain you have something called BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is that your brain and your body naturally use so many calories. A workout is really going to only burn 10 to 15% typically of extra calories in a day. So a lot of people think they just have to earn their food, when that's not a good way of looking at it. Your body needs nutrients just to survive on the day to day. So even eating properly is a form of nourishment. That's a form of rest. So everything you do helps your body rest and recover. So look at that differently than just ice baths or saunas or anything like that. Taking a walk is a form of rest. Removing yourself from your computer is a form of rest. So find those ways to take care of yourself, but sleep's the number one thing. Improve your sleep and you'll literally improve your life.
Yeah, sleep. So important. I'm a new father, and the day that my baby started sleeping through the night, it was like a whole new ball game for me. So I totally hear you there. Going back to the food and the diet thing, I know that you've mentioned before that there's no one size fits all approach, and fitness and food are never going to be the same for everyone. So I'm hoping you can share some of your healthy eating tips. And can you tell us about your plant-based way of eating, and what advice do you have for someone who's trying to eat more of a plant-focused diet?
Well, starting with the back end of the question, if you're trying to eat more of a plant-focused diet, stop thinking, and this is of course dependent upon your ethical thought processes, but eating a plant-based diet doesn't mean you can never eat meat, right? So a plant-based diet, typically by its definition, is typically unprocessed, minimally to unprocessed plant-oriented foods that are 80% plus more of the diet. So technically you could be a vegetarian or vegan and not eat plant-based. My whole concept of a plant-based diet really is helping people understand that there are nutrient benefits to fruits, vegetables, certain beans, grains, all that you should just increase more of in your diet. I don't approach it from a reductionist standpoint of you should never eat meat. Now, if you want to look at it from an environmental standpoint, more than fine. But if you want to look at it strictly from a nutrient standpoint, there's certain meats that are actually have been super vital for human flourishing and are super important and are nutrient dense, right? So the thing is, if you do choose to eat meat, treat it as a supplement. It doesn't have to be the main component of your diet, and it should come from better sources, right? So look into where you're purchasing from, if it's grass fed, things of that nature. But when it comes to the diet component, think of it like this. Really, this is where it gets reductionist. Stop eating added sugars. Stop drinking diet sodas. Just drink water or teas that you can make yourself. Stop eating so many packaged foods. Control really what you put in your body. Just think easy diets. Mediterranean diet is always the belle of the ball. But just think about lean fish, lean meat here and there, fruits, vegetables. A simple, easy tip that always makes me feel better and my clients: just have a couple pieces of whole fruit on an empty stomach in between meals with some water. And that'll really change your day. In the mornings, stop thinking about just waking up and going and engaging in caffeine, which is really just a drug. The US is the most overly stimulated culture in the world. Is drink water first, check in with yourself, focus on your digestion. And then from there, you can start to experiment. Do I want to eat meat? Do I not? Do I want to do intermittent fasting? Do I want to do paleo? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? But it is some base, easy rules that you should really think about, right? And that's really where you start. Typically then feel better. And then you start to realize maybe there's certain foods that don't work for me, maybe broccoli for some people. If you have IBS, that's, it'll bother your stomach, things like that. So that's really what you focus on: increasing water intake, decrease added sugars, more fruits and vegetables. Don't eat so close to bed. Reduce caffeine intake if you can in the morning, and don't have caffeine after 2 p.m. And those are easy, simple rules that will literally improve your well-being immediately.
That's awesome. I'm glad that this is on video because I'm not taking notes right now, but I'm totally going to come back and write all those things down. That's awesome. Especially, for me, I really can totally get on board with not having to think about never eating meat again. Because honestly, like, I love a good salmon fillet. I love a good hamburger every now and then, but really just thinking about increasing, the plant-based things in my diet as well. So just making sure that I've got enough of the leafy greens, that I've got enough of the healthy grains on my plate as well, not thinking solely about reducing the meat intake. Because you're right, I know some vegetarians out there that actually eat very unhealthy because all they eat is like junk food. They're like, I'm not eating meat, but
And
yeah,
then like, because it's easy, like, food is a commodities-based business. So at the end of the
yeah,
day, when you see this plant-based narrative that's pushed without pushing you towards healthier foods, really, fruits, vegetables, and pushing you
right,
towards more processed foods, but that really just, it's a money play. I mean, health and wellness it's a $4 trillion plus industry. So really look at the science more so than just the products, and start to understand how
yeah,
that works for you.
I love that. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk more about your thoughts on stress. You say that if we intentionally bring more stress in our lives, we can combat the constant churn of low-level stress we already have. Can you explain what you mean by this? What's the difference between good stress and bad stress?
So basically, when you try to remove anything that's bad too much, humans typically actually negatively respond. So you see this with the microbiome. When they tried to raise super hygienic mice, the mice were more sick. You see this with constant use of like hand sanitizer sometimes, where that can mess up with your microbiome. Or the thought process of basically frailty. Like, we want to make you anti-fragile, right? So what is stress? Stress really is just something that is a stimulus that might be a little bit difficult, that you then have a response to. You have two choices of a response. You have eustress or you have distress. Science can't really even fully explain this, but basically there's stress as a response and there's stress as a thing. So stress as a thing is anything that comes at you, right? So a workout. Two people could do the same workout, but why does one person find it a little bit easier or get better and the other person gets worse? That's because of the response to it. So the person who got better has a eustress response, which is when you do a little bit of something that is a stress or is hard and you have a beneficial response, versus distress, so you have a negative response. So we want to figure out how to take account to all the stresses in our lives and then either improve our response to it or remove the ones that are too hard. So take, for example, work. You could get into that flow state, you're doing something, you feel super great, but other people might get burnt out by it. So the thing is how do we improve our resilience? Working out is one of those forms, right? Because we do something hard and next thing you know, our resting heart rate then drops. So at rest, we're now healthier, or we have improved blood sugar or things like that. So the thing is like, don't not do hard things. It's stop doing the things that aren't beneficial for you, that leave you feeling worse. An example, emails. A lot of us sit at our emails all day. Now, I'm not telling you not to answer your emails. Please answer your emails.
Thought I had an out there, Joe.
Trish, who helped set this up, she probably is like, why does Joe never answer his emails? But a lot of us hold our breath during our emails, right? So we get a negative stress response to something that we shouldn't. Learn to breathe, learn to adapt to these stressors in your daily life. So my thoughts have always been, especially with workouts or whatever, is how do you use brief moments of stress to help improve your resilience in daily life? And that could be with mental training, that could be with physical training. Doing hard things can be beneficial for us, but then we need to make sure that we rest and recover from them.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that. And, thinking about everything we've covered so far today, fitness, diet, rest, and stress, it's clear that these are all related. And I'm curious, what does true wellness mean to you?
Huh. So I have a distinct definition of what wellness versus health. Wellness is an action. Wellness are the strategies that you do on the day-to-day that will help you take care of yourself. So and that is a little bit different. Health is then the end result. So we see this a lot. So health is your state of being. Wellness are the actions you take to make sure you stay healthy. But you see this a lot with people. You often find healthy people that don't do all the wellness things, right? So that 100-plus-year-old woman who like smokes and drinks soda, but is still alive. It's correlative. It can help improve you. But yeah, wellness to me is like those daily things, those strategies that I utilize to refresh myself, because it's hard. We live in a culture that we didn't necessarily set up ourselves, and we have these difficulties that we deal with both personally, professionally, individually, as a group. So wellness is What are the strategies I can use to give me a little more joy out of this life? Not that I'm healthy because I'm going to try or do these things. I try to live forever. Because at this point right now, unfortunately, nobody makes it out alive. But you can make it through with a little bit more joy. So that's why I just want you to take care of yourself. Like, just it helps you find joy. Don't do it as a punishment. Don't do it because you need to lose weight. Don't do it because you see some billboard and you're like, oh, I wish I looked like that. Do it because you can. Do it because you could do it with people who might enjoy it. And wellness to me are just those actionable steps that you can do to improve your health that bring you joy.
That is so amazing. I love that message. And talking about wellness and joy, I've got a question for you. We've got a few more minutes before we get into our exercise snack, but you're a busy person with diverse responsibilities. You consult, you train, you coach, you write columns, you run nonprofits. I'm sure this has been a really crazy time over the last year. And how have you been taking care of yourself?
Yeah. There's an ebb and flow, going back to that Taoist principle, basically something called, it's called Wu Wei or Wu Wei, strategic, not action. I take care of myself by knowing when it's time to rest, like removing myself and being able to take some time off. But honestly, my schedule is a little bit different. What I always do, I take Wednesdays off. Like, I don't have weekends. I take Wednesdays off. I take Saturdays off. And then Sundays are basically a half day. But I know I need those breaks. I know everybody can't do this. But what you can do, though, is reset. And even for those individuals, at the end of the day, what I do is I always check in with myself. I have tension release practice. And then in the mornings, I control my mornings. I think if you control your mornings, really, that can improve everything, especially if you're always going. So this year and 18 months, of course, has been hard. I'm aging, I guess. I'm 31 now, and I've done a lot work-wise the past 6 years. But at the end of the day, I think I was at my breaking point probably at 27, 28 when I was teetering on burnout. And that's when I really decided to fully invest in my well-being with the simple things, going on all walks every day, which is basically you just go walk and you just look around for maybe 10 minutes and try to notice the things you didn't see. Go look at the sunset. Take time to check in with yourself. Notice the little things, like be in yourself. And then, of course, you do all the other stuff, work out, eat well, do that. But I think for me personally, and I'm sure other people out there too, it's just finding those moments of joy by being fully in your body. It's a process of embodiment that I think was important because, traveling all around the world, doing so much, it's easy to forget. It's easy to not really fully be there. And that was something that I made a conscious decision to change.
Yeah, I love that. Being present in your body in the mornings, I feel like is so important. So I know that we're running a little bit short on time. So I would love to actually participate in how you champion the benefits of shorter, easier workouts. A philosophy you call exercise snacks. It sounds delicious, but I don't know if there's going to be eating involved. But please tell us more about how this works.
Yeah, I'll give you a little demo. But basically, like, when we think about exercise snacks, don't think of it as a workout, really. Just think of it as movement. It's really this basis of around intermittent movement, which is a thought process that I stumbled upon probably in 2012, 2013 about this study they did with diabetic patients or pre-diabetic patients. And they figured that movement throughout the day or breaking up their workouts instead of one long session with smaller bites or snacks helped control their blood sugar. And I don't know, I was like 20, 21, and it hit me at the time where I was like, wow, everybody thinks about working out for fitness or performance, but what about our health? We forget about our health because we can't fully see, the metabolic movements markers. And then during COVID and a quarantine, at least, still kind of in COVID, one of my clients, we were doing IG Live, Naomi Campbell, and that's when I fully launched Exercise Snacks. It was like a workout database because she wanted to work out every day, and then she wanted to broadcast it live, but then she only had about 30 minutes or less. So it's a philosophy to utilize into your daily habits that is super simple, which is basically you have time, especially if you're still working from home, but even if you're not in the office, to be able to do just small movement breaks that'll help you mentally, but also physically. So I'm going to guide you through that. And a lot of these are even seated ones. So we can first start with just like seated exercises instead of just thinking about like crazy high knees or stuff like that. So all you got to do really is just find a super comfortable position. okay? And this is especially one that I like to do when I'm at my desk is you just sit, all right? So you're just gonna sit to start. And you gotta realize your body has two different pumps. It's your heart, but also your calves. So what we're gonna do in this seated position, I'll move back a tiny bit, so you can see my legs more, is that you're just gonna pump your calves, right? So imagine my foot is on the ground, all you're gonna do is push forward and back. So you're just gonna do calf raises on the ground. So we're just gonna be moving up and down just like that, okay? Right? So this is gonna be, give me 10 of those, that's all you gotta do. And you're gonna start to, your calf just acts as a natural pump, which helps circulation of the blood through the body. So we go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So then when we do that, we then want to move to our upper body, right? So now we're going to take our hands. We've been sitting. So just going to give me nice, easy circles to these wrists. That's all you're going to do. So we're going to go 8 reps. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to reverse directions. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And now we're often sitting, so we get that faux neck. I kind of get it too sometimes. We're just like this, kind of hunched, right? So we want to make sure we work on extension. So we're going to have to take these hands, we're going to put them on our quad, and then we're just going to arch back slightly with a big reach, then down, okay? So you have a small arch back, big reach, down, okay? Small arch back, we're moving through that mid back, big reach, here, down. Small arch, gonna give you 2 more. Big reach, here, down, and arch that back. Big reach, in, down. Good. Now we're gonna keep moving through that spine, right? So now you're just gonna give me nice, easy circles, just like this. And imagine you can do this sitting. So everybody's like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to change my clothes. I can't do this. I can't do that. You can literally do this basically in anything that you're wearing, right? And then if you're at home, nobody's gonna look at you like you're crazy. But even if you're in the office, what's really crazy is the fact that we're sitting all day. It's not crazy that you want to move your body, so just move your body. Now we're gonna give you reaches over the top. So we're gonna go just like this, right? Okay, give me 10 reps. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now we're gonna go across the body. So you're gonna give me, this is reach across, right? So that's 2, moving through that back, 3, here we go, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And now just gonna give me nice easy circles through that neck. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, reverse directions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now, literally, all you're going to do is it's going to hover. So you're going to be here. You're going to push up through the ground. You're going to hold. Small tap in your chair. Push up again, right? So just nice and small. So straight up. So this is a trick to work on your lower body strength when you're getting in and out of a chair, as I'm sure you will be throughout the day. Push through your feet instead of using your hands to get up. It's an easy way to focus on improving your body, lower body strength, and working those muscles, which is important to work because they're the largest muscles in your body. Instead of using the hands, just use the feet, push through the ground. We're gonna keep practicing that. You got 3 more. 1, there we go. 2, 3, good. Now we're back down, right? So remember, you're arching back. Now we're gonna reach forward nice and easy. So just like this. Reach forward, pull back. Reach forward, pull back. We got 6 reps. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And now what we're gonna do is nice and easy. It's gonna give me straight leg lifts, and we just kick it out. So all it is, we just lift this leg up and extend. Lift and extend. Lift, 5, lift, 4, lift, 3, lift, 2, lift, and 1. Good. And now when we lift, we're going to tuck the chin in. Then when we extend, we look up. Tuck the chin, same leg, extend, look up. Tuck the chin, extend, 2 more, and then we'll switch. Tuck, so you can even grab that leg. So hug that knee to the chest. Small tuck, and extend. 1 more. We'll hug and extend. Good. Then we go to that other leg. We'll hug it, tuck, extend. Hug to tuck, and extend. Hug to tuck, extend. Hug to tuck, extend. Hug to tuck, and extend. Good. Then we're going to be seated again. All right. It's going to give me 10 more of those calf pumps. Here we go. 10. Pushing through those toes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. They're giving me nice, easy shoulder rolls forward. Here we go. For 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Then reverse. Ready? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And we're just going to shake it out. Shake out those arms. Let some of that tension out. Here we go. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Good. Now this is the most important part of every exercise tonight. Then we take some time just to check in with ourselves, right? We got the blood pumping, our heart rate may be up a little bit, but more importantly, we just got it flowing. We're releasing some of that stagnation. So now we're going to get back into our body with just a super simple breathing practice, okay? So we're going to take a deep breath in, all right? Think about filling from that diaphragm, the lower half first before the chest. We'll take a 2-second inhale, okay? So we'll take that breath in. We'll hold for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale for about 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale again. Hold. And exhale. There you go. And I want you to inhale again through that nose, 2 seconds. Hold. And exhale. Now, as we're doing this, I want you to pay attention to how your body's feeling, right? Just take time to check in with yourself, no judgment. Just breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Good control, not forcing it. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. 1 more. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. And the last thing that we're going to do, you're just going to breathe on your own even tempo. Then I just want you to pay attention to the world around you for a second. Get used to the sounds. We're going to do what's called open awareness monitoring, okay? And we're just going to sit with that for about 30 seconds to a minute as we close it. We exist within the world. It's not just us. We want to be able to pay attention to the stimuli around us without getting overwhelmed, right? So we're just going to sit here, nice controlled breathing. Just pay attention to where your air is going. And also be aware of the environment that's around you. All right, so remember, you can always return to your oxygen and your breathing patterns at any time during your day. That's literally the most advanced technology that we have, our nose, our throat, our lungs, and it can change the way we respond to things in our environment. So movement, our breathing, how we eat, how we treat each other, all that. It's not some esoteric woo-woo stuff, but that we've been removed so far from ourselves, from the base health practices that sometimes we might not feel good. So hopefully this has helped you. And I thank you for being here and paying attention and having me. Hopefully it was helpful.
Thank you, Joe. That was amazing. I love that. That was so short, and you could do it sitting in your chair. I did it sitting on my sofa. I could do this while I'm watching the morning news or watching TV or something, but my body feels so refreshed, and I didn't break out in a huge sweat. I didn't have to go to the gym or pick up any weights, but my body feels great, and I feel so much more present for the day. So thank you so much for that exercise snack. I can't wait to have another one. Everybody online, I hope that you also enjoyed that exercise snack. We're at time. So Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody else dialed in online, remember, be happy, be healthy, and be well. Bye, everyone.